Hello there.
Before Order 66, the Jedi Order consisted of multiple ranks and specialities that ranged all the way from Jedi Initiates, commonly referred to as younglings, all the way up to Grand Master. But beyond these well-known ranks within the Order, there were dozens of specialities that the Jedi would spend their entire lives mastering and improving and applying of their skills in the Force. In today's video, I will be discussing each rank and speciality within the Order. I will not be spending as much time on the ranks of the Jedi, such as Padawans, Younglings, Knights, and Masters, just because I feel like they're just so well known, but I will cover them briefly. To start off, we will be starting off with Jedi Initiates, or otherwise called Jedi Youngling. This rank was given to all who were brought into the temple at the time of their infancy, until they reached the right age to become apprentices. They would be given minimal training in the Force, such as opening themselves up to the Force and understanding the Jedi Code. And once they were the right age, would be placed into a clan of 10, where they would stay until they reached the right age for Padawanship. Once they were chosen by a Jedi Knight or Master, they would officially become a Padawan. But if a youngling were to fail the trials and not chosen, the youngling instead would be given the choice to join the Service Corps, where they would spend their time enhancing plants' growing speeds on planets who required assistance, and if they refused that, they would leave the Order. Which brings us on to the next rank on our list, Jedi Padawan. At this stage, adventures with their masters could result in death. As Padawans, they were no longer restricted to maintain inside of the temple. Instead, if they chose to travel throughout the galaxy, they could get real hands-on experience. Being a Padawan could last as little as 3 years or as long as 10 years, depending on how fast they mature and their skills grow. Unless they were a species that grew very slowly, such as older species, they could be Padawans for hundreds of years. It also depended on what time of the galaxy it was. If it was a time of war, Padawans, in most cases, were often knighted a lot more quicker than during a time of peace. But in most cases, the Padawans would have to pass a trial which consisted of the trial of skill, courage, of the flesh, spirit, and insight. I will cover these topics in a later video. Although most of the trials would be given inside the temple, sometimes the trials would happen on the field. For example, Anakin passed the trial of flesh when he lost his arm in a battle with Count Dooku. The next rank is Knighthood. When a Jedi is reaching the stage of Knighthood, they would be officially viewed as a Jedi, not just a Force wielder. As a Knight, they're given far more freedom to do whatever they saw right with the Force in the galaxy, whether that be going out across the galaxy to solve problems or staying in the temple helping younglings. However, though, during a time of war, the Jedi were pressured onto taking up roles as generals, making them abandon some of their desired paths of the Force. To become a Jedi Master, a Jedi Knight was required to train one or more Padawans or demonstrate extreme accomplishments within the Force. Most Jedi Knights, though, would never reach the rank of Master, making the Jedi Master the least occupied rank in the Order, besides the Jedi Grand Master, of course. The rank of Jedi Master was highest rank inside the Order, besides the rank of Council Member and Grand Master Jedi. Jedi Masters also received special treatment, such as being allowed to join the Jedi Council. But, as we've seen with other Jedi, some Knights were even allowed to join the Council, such as Anakin Skywalker. Jedi Masters were also allowed to access almost all of the Archive's knowledge, including some Sith holocrons. To be a council member, they had to be a master and show remarkable feats. Once they were on the council, they were allowed to set and change the order as any way they see fit, and were also allowed to give orders to knights and masters. And they were also involved with the politics of the Senate. Within the council, there's two groups of the council members: the permanent members and the temporary members. The permanent members were on the council until they die or until they resign, and limited members were on the council for an extended period of time. It is unknown how long that time could be, though. The second to final rank belongs to the Jedi Master. There would only be one Jedi Master at a time, which meant they were given the most freedom out of any other Jedi besides the Grand Master, and also were the most respected member within the Order. To be a Jedi Master, the Jedi would need to be selected by the other council members due to their power and wisdom in the Force. Our final member is the Jedi Grand Master. There can only be one Grand Master at a time, and a Grand Master was the utmost respected Jedi in the entire Order. It was the Jedi Grand Master's job to represent the Jedi Order. Now we'll be getting on to Jedi specialities. These included Jedi Guardians, Jedi Sentinels, and Jedi Counselors. To start off this speciality, we'll start with Jedi Guardians. They focused their time on combat. As warriors, they spent their time protecting the weak and upholding the law. Jedi Guardians often wielded a blue lightsaber to symbolize courage, strength, and creativity within the light side of the Force. Under the group of Jedi Guardians, there are four main classes of Jedi. The first one is a Jedi Weapons Master. They spent most of their time studying the art of combat and inventing new and exotic weapons with the Force other than just the lightsaber. Some of their creations include the light whip and quarterstaff, and multiple other unique lightsaber variants. Those also who are under the class of Weapon Master were known for being the most creative and deadliest fighters in the entire order. The next member of the class is Jedi Instructors, who were tasked with training the younglings, initiates, and Padawans in the order when they were not with their masters. While this role might not have been as demanding in combat in this side of the Force, some Jedi Instructors did become Battle Masters, whose sole duty in the Jedi Order was to train the youngest members in the Order about the basics of lightsaber combat. The third is Jedi Aces. Members in this class specialize their skills in flight and air combat, using the Force to enhance their reaction time and their piloting abilities. Jedi Aces were usually the first to be sent out whenever there's a battle or war happening in space, or whenever there's an evacuation in order. Our final member in the Jedi Guardian class is the Jedi Peacekeepers. The Jedi Peacekeepers were tasked with helping the police enforcement on worlds experiencing unrest. They also helped on investigations when catching criminals across the galaxy and stopping notorious crime syndicates. The Jedi Peacekeepers also aided temple security and upper-level law agencies. Those in temple security also were divided into multiple classes, such as Gate Masters, Jedi Brutes, and Jedi Snipers. The Gate Masters were tasked with defending and protecting the 4 main entrances of the Jedi Temple. If there is a threat that was ever to attack the temple, they would fail to protect the temple during Order 66. The Jedi Brutes were tasked with taking down any threats that might have reached the temple and stop them before they could deal any real damage. And Jedi Snipers were stationed on the outer areas of the temple, stopping any troublemakers that could reach the temple. But on the other hand, the Jedi Counselors used their knowledge in the Force to help them with diplomacy, as well as the Force to study medicine. They would use this knowledge to make scientific discoveries and help expand the Jedi archives with their knowledge. And unlike Guardians, wielded green lightsabers. In the Jedi Counselor class, there are 6 different classes. To start this list off, we have Jedi Ambassadors. The Ambassadors served as representatives to the Republic Senate. They served as spokesmen on behalf of new worlds or who wish to join the Republic. The second member are Jedi Diplomats. Unlike Jedi Ambassadors, the Diplomats' main goal was solving interplanetary disputes, rather than dealing with the Republic and its actions. For example, the diplomats would be sent on a world where civil war was happening, and their goal was to bring a peaceful resolution to the war, while Jedi Ambassadors would be sent to the world to talk to native species about joining the Republic, or who had issues with the Galactic Republic's government. The next members are the Jedi Healers. They spent their time mastering the Force to heal others, which included special crystals that amplified the healing effect. While their primary cases took place in the temple, they were often deployed on war-torn planets or on battlefields to provide relief and support. The fourth member on this class is the Lore Keeper. The Lore Keeper's primary goal was to maintain and update the vast knowledge of the Jedi Order and archives, which typically has fallen into 3 different specializations, as archivists, historians, and librarians. The archivists are tasked with storing the vast knowledge of the archives, as well as locating and rediscovering ancient civilizations' knowledge and translating them into galactic basics. Librarians, on the other hand, mostly served as a guide within the Jedi archives, aiding any Jedi who came through in search of a specific text, while Jedi historians updated the archives with research, text, and data, providing a much easier understanding through their analysis. They also researched the older days of the Republic and Jedi Order, recovering any events that were possibly lost to time. The fifth on this list are Jedi Researchers. They were very similar to Jedi Lore Keepers, but instead of updating the Jedi Temple archives, researchers provided scientific research and discoveries to the Jedi archives. Many gathered their respective data from their respective research fields. The researchers were also grouped into 5 different groups, such as archaeologists, astronomers, biologists, literaturists, and geologists. The archaeologists spent their time retrieving old Jedi artifacts from ancient Jedi temples that had been forgotten, and even collecting some Sith artifacts. Astronomers, on the other hand, spent their time studying the galaxy when concerning space travel, spending most of their time discovering new hyperspace routes that could provide useful to the Jedi Order when traveling from world to world secretly, such as Ilum. Literaturists spent most of their time learning and translating destroyed and forgotten languages from ancient civilizations, and adding the knowledge that they've learned into the archives. Biologists use their time to discover and research new species across the galaxy, noting specific species who were extremely or semi-connected to the Force that could be used as an asset or label them as a possible threat to the Jedi Order or the galaxy itself. The next member on this list is geologists. The geologists dedicated their lives to researching and exploring new and unidentified resources from new and undiscovered worlds, usually searching for new soil to use for farming grounds for the agricultural core, to grow much needed food to worlds. This final member on this class is the Jedi Seer. The Jedi Seer use most of their time to meditate and open up their minds to the Force, seeking visions from the Force and relaying what they saw to the archives, as well as trying to connect them to any documented texts or other classes. While usually inactive during a time of peace, a Jedi counselor during a time of war and unrest could become a Jedi sage, who changed their views from gathering knowledge to becoming sorcerers, as they were seen mostly using the Force as a weapon rather than a lightsaber. Their abilities in the Force ranged from destroying an army's visions with illusions, all the way to ripping apart enemies' tools, artilleries, and soldiers with the Force. The Jedi Sentinels' main focus was increasing their skills in the Force subtly by influencing others to achieve their goals and in other uses. Some of the skills they specialized in was tracking, intelligence gathering, infiltration, and political manipulation. And out of all of the three classes in the temple, they were the smallest in numbers, but they were also the most commonly known for wielding yellow lightsabers, but Jedi Sentinels could also wield blue and green lightsabers. Under the class of Sentinel, there were 5 main branches that existed. The first on the 5 are Jedi Investigators, who use the Force to help them track down individuals across the entire galaxy. The Jedi Investigator would work alongside the Republican police force when tracking down criminals, and some Jedi Investigators were even known for infiltrating crime syndicates and spying on them. The next branch in this class is the Jedi Recruiter. The recruiters were tasked with bringing in Force-sensitive children to the temple in hopes of training them in the ways of the Force. It is often that a retired Jedi Recruiter was formerly a Jedi Investigator who used the Force to locate Force-sensitive individuals instead of criminals. It is sad to see, though, that Jedi Recruiters were often the more hated group of the Jedi, being disliked across the galaxy due to the public saying that they were stealing their young or manipulating them. The third are Jedi Shadows. The Jedi Shadows numbers might have decreased over time, but after the fall of the Sith Empire, the Jedi Shadows were essential to hunting down any remaining Sith loyalist, or artifact, and destroying them, or if possible, containing them. Before the Clone Wars would begin, the Jedi Shadows were tasked with keeping an eye on any Jedi that could possibly fall to the dark side, making them in a way a police force. The next up on the list is the Jedi Temple Guards. Their main duty to the Jedi Order was protecting the temple and any valuable asset at all costs from any Darksider or any threat. They were also the first line of defense against any large-scale attack on the temple. But as we've seen on Revenge of the Sith, they would fail because the clones would get inside the temple and slaughter all the Jedi. The last member on the Jedi Sentinel class was the Jedi Watchers. They were tasked with maintaining peace over a specific world and planetary efforts. Their duties involved protecting the planets from any threats and keeping order on the planet, which at times meant manipulating the public. We also have Jedi Artisans. Jedi Artisans were pretty rare in the Jedi Order, but played a crucial role when decorating the Jedi Temple, due to them using the Force to create statues and other parts of the temple that symbolize the Jedi. While there might have been 3 main classes and specialities within the Order, there are some other ranks that we should cover, such as the Jedi Exploration Corps. Some ranks that were in the Jedi Exploration Corps included the Jedi Scouts and Seekers. Jedi Scouts had the job of exploring uncharted regions in the galaxy and planets, if any, that they contained. While on the other hand, Jedi Seekers explored the galaxy, often led by the Force itself, to help those in need and stop potential dark side threats, which were most commonly were cults or other dark side factions. We also have the Jedi Quartermaster, who had to oversee and maintain all of the equipment in the Jedi Order that the Jedi would use on missions. The title of Beastmaster was a very rare title given to the Jedi, for it required a Jedi to influence the minds of creatures for a variety of reasons, whether that be to research the creature or to possibly even create a new species. The title of Caretaker of First Knowledge was given to a Jedi who oversaw the Jedi Academy on Coruscant, as well as other worlds. They also protected the Jedi Archives, as well as the Holocron Vault. The title of Jedi Antiquities was a title given to a Jedi whose primary goal was to defend a specific knowledge within the temple, such as Sith artifacts or Sith holocrons. Now we will be getting on to titles that were given to Jedi during a time of war. Starting off the list, we have the title of Jedi Commander. The title of Commander was given to Padawans during the time of the Clone Wars, when they were given some authority over their clone battalion. The title of Jedi General were given to Jedis who had the rank of Master or Knight. Jedi Generals would see over entire armies. The Jedi Generals could possibly even be given the rank of Jedi Senior General, but they were usually given to very few selected Jedi. But if they were given the rank, they would be given control over one of the 20 clone army sectors. The final rank given to a Jedi during a time of war was the title of High General. The title of High General was only given to a member who was on the council. Not only did they hold control over one of the 10 system armies, but also could control and give commands to all Jedi under their lead. The rank of Jedi Lord was given to a Jedi who served as a commander in the Army of Light during the New Sith Wars, though the title of Lord would be destroyed after the war. And with that, my friends, was the final rank on this extremely long list. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and let me know who your favorite rank in the Jedi Order was. And if you were a Jedi, what rank or class would you be under? Thank you so much for your continued support, and with that, my fellow Star Wars nerds, may the Force be with you.